welcome to this TerrainComposer video. This video will be about TerrainComposer's very powerful features of creating different terrain decorations on the same terrains. Now we're going to do splat texturing and 5 different setups for that. We're going to create a beach, a desert part, a jungle part, a forest, and a layer for the mountains, texturing the mountains. And that's this part, and then we're going to place trees and bushes, we're going to place some grass, and we're going to place objects. So I made an example of an island, and it is a tutorial. It consists of 4 terrain tiles, and if you buy TerrainComposer, this tutorial will be included, so you can go through every layer, every filter, every subfilter, and see what it does. And a very powerful feature of TerrainComposer is that you can activate and deactivate every filter, every subfilter, so you can see what every component is doing. What I also created is a remarks section, and there you can type in your text, or I can type in tutorial text that will explain the layer. So that's very cool too. Now let's get started. First we need to add the terrains to TerrainComposer. Shift click here and stitch them together. That's done. Now as for a tip, I start with a very low splat map resolution that will be very fast, but it will give low detail, and once you're through all the layers we will put it to high, and then we get very detailed output. I've added 8 splat textures for creating our jungle, our desert, and a forest, and some grass. So let's get started with the beach. So we just unfold this layer and click generate. As you can see, the filter is put on random, and it's randomly selecting between those two, and you can see that over here. The subfilter is for the alpha channel. This is to fade out, and it will paint when the height is 0. It will paint maximum until the height is 0.20, and it will fade when the height is 0.27. And we can measure that with the measure tool. Here is the splat total, and here is the height. Now it will be total 1, and here it will start to fade all the way to when the height is 0.27. So measure tool, very cool. Let's zoom out. Now we're going to do the desert, and I created a very cool picture for that in Photoshop, and here it is. It's just a red, green, blue, and I used the exported height map in TerrainComposer for that to paint on top of it. So very simple. So, and you can see the effect here that is made by this curve going up down twice. It creates a nice line effect, and if we would deactivate this filter, which says you can only paint on the red, then we get the overall setup here. And so here is our beach, here is our desert, so we already have mixed 2 things here. And you see the power of deactivating, activating, that you can see what you can do. So, and now we're going to add the jungle, and I created different splats here, selected from the terrain, and it's only paints on the green color. And I've excluded the see, now we have our jungle part, and you can see a little effect over here that's done with this curve. So, and now we're going to paint the forest, and this has only the forest flat texture, and I only use one subfilter and on color and one filter, and only on steepness here. So let's click generate. And you can see the effect I created in Photoshop. This yeah, here. So very cool. And then our last layer, the mountains, and that will paint steepness, and it will only paint, I just inverted the curve so it paints only on the black. So here we get our total result, and mixturing 5 different layers, and which is really cool. And now, as a another cool feature is that you can create cloud shadows. And you only need one layer and one filter, and it is set on current like the images over here, and it just changes the alpha channel to this cloud image. So, and we put it on maximum strength to see what it does. So here you create light dark effect, which creates much more realistic terrain. Only this is too much, so we put the layer strength to 0.5 and maybe a little bit lower. And with every image you can set the scale. You can make it like a lower scale, and you can even rotate each image. So let's put maximum strength and see what this does. You see it's much smaller scale now. So we put the scale back up to 0.3, and we put rotation. But you can also use the flip x-axis, and we use about 0.4 for this. So here's our shadows. So this is our final splat texturing. Now let's bake high results here, high detail. Let's set resolution for all terrains and click generate. So here you can see the high resolution result of the mixing of different decoration layers, and it's looking pretty awesome. This is our desert part, and here will be our forest where we're going to place trees and stones, and back there is the jungle part. Let's get started with decorating the desert terrain, and I want a line of stones here. So we're moving to object output, and we activate our stone layer, and I've added 5 stones and filter to random, so it selects them randomly. And subfilter is again for placement. Here it's not the alpha channel, but how much or if an object should be placed or not. And it's a very small line here, and it will only ensure that it will be placed there. And the steepness is that it won't place on high slope, so it won't be placed on a ridge down there. So, and since this is terrain 4, we only need to have output on terrain 4. So let's click a stone, and there's many things in here, like you can select the scale range, the rotation range, the position range, include terrain height, the distance of each object, and for every component you can do set all, which will change that for all active objects. So if I deactivate those two, it won't make the changes here. If you click shift, then it will. So it's a very handy feature. So let's set the distance to 1. That's for spacing things out. So let's click generate, see what happens. And there's a line of stones. See how easy that is? And the stones will be added into the logs, and we will automatically combine the meshes. I've put it on, and here you can see the data of each object, and you can maximize combine 1,000 stones into one mesh, and that's pretty much. So this is very optimum performance. And you can set a material, different materials for each object, and even rotations, rotation maps. But I want this object stone 4, this one, I want the scale to be smaller. It's a little bit too big, so we'll move that down and click generate again. Yeah, that looks much nicer. Yes, this is fine. So we placed our stones, and you can set the total scale here. That's also very easy. So if you want the stones to be bigger, whoops, bigger or bigger, very easy. So I put this back to 1, 2, and the strength is for spacing. It's a quick way. See, less spacing, put this to the maximum, get much more stones. So I put it around here. So this is our stone layer, and let's move over to placing the bushes. Let's activate the tree desert layer, and here I created 4 bushes, and filter will select them randomly, and I put the subfilter, the placement rules, that it only places on about this height, this triangle, and over here a few, and over here, but not too steep and not too high. And let's open, and here you have many settings like data, preview, scale, distance, different colors you can set for each tree, like right. And there's a very powerful filter range for each tree that allows you to select different scale range from any filter settings, and the subfilter system is for selecting the colors. So, and let me show you. I click generate, and now it is on random color. So here's our result, which looks very nice. And you can see the pattern over here, and if I would change it, the scale to a higher scale, set it to every tree, then you get totally different output. So let's change that back again. Now I want to have a subfilter, and I want a subfilter on height. So when the height is low, we'll have the green bushes, and it will move to more pale when it's higher. So let's set this for every tree, and let's click generate and see what this does. See? Very cool, very powerful options. Wow. Alright. And this is our tree layer. So let's move to placing grass. We deactivate tree output, and grass output is on. We activate the grass desert layer, and here is our setup of grass. It will choose randomly, and I have the same subfilter system as I have with the bushes, on steepness and then image again. Same rules here, very simple. So let's click generate and we'll move a little bit further into mix rate, but look at this, it's very cool. So here we have our grass and it will start at the stone line and will go up further. It's very easy, great results. Here's the mix rate, and with the mix rate you can set that it mixes less, these 4 together, 5, so you get more space in between the different ones, and you can do that between each grass you selected. You can do the same with splat. Let's put it to the maximum. You'll get more mixing between those two while having less mixing between the others, so it's very, very powerful. It works pretty much the same as splat, because it also has these mix rates where you can set the different mixing between splats. So the same system in every output, and it has the same powerful features. You can do the spacing of the grass here, so I want less grass. See, very, very simple. So we're finished with the desert decoration, and let's take a look at the results here. Well, the grass is on low distance in the editor mode. I will show a video when it's finished of the Realtime mode, the game mode, but it's looking pretty cool. Yeah, and before we move over to the forest part, I want to show you one more thing, because sometimes if you place too much grass it can get too slow, or you place too much trees, and there's a very simple reset option in the terrain. Like if you click reset detail, it will reset the details. Click reset trees, it will reset the trees. Very handy, and so you get quick performance again. So if we want to place them back again, we just set this, and there you go, there it's back. So let's move to our forest part, which is over here. We deactivate this one again, and the desert trees, we don't need them for now, and we activate our forestry and forest grass, but we're not going to output it yet. And of course we have a lot of objects in here which we can already activate, but we do not activate it over here, so it is not output. If this is not activated, there won't be any output to this grass or object. Alright, let's open our trees, and there is many trees in here, the bushes again, and many high trees, and rules on placement here, and only on the blue. Click on generate, so there is our forest. So very quick results and a nice looking forest. So we have this one, and then we're going to place the stones, and there's 6 stones in here, one more, and actually this is the same as the just how do you do this? Well, it's very easy. You have the forest. When I'm finished with the tree, I just copy this one and I paste it in objects, and there you go. And you have the same rules here, and you only change it to object, and here you add your stones and you can set them up, and you have already the same area. So it's a really cool, powerful system. Duplication is, I use it a lot. It saves a lot of time. So, and also a feature, you can save every layer on its own, and you can also save each group on its own. So it's really, and also loading, of course, it's really very powerful. So let's go to our stones, and we can deactivate that one, and maybe we want to watch only the stones, and we reset the trees. This is only for the terrain. If you hold Control, if you hold Shift, Control, and then it will reset all the terrains. So let's click Generate. There comes the stones. And here I use very big stones, and actually it places some here, and of course you can rule that out because we don't really want that. And the nice thing is that you can still do manual operations on everything, on splat, on trees, on grass. You can use Unity terrain editor, and you can paint your textures here. You can paint the grass, the trees. See, it all still works, and it's really cool about TerrainComposer, as it's just doing things you normally have to do by hand automatically and very fast. So let's reset the trees. Right. Okay, and then I have a object for trunks, and this will place some trunks, and the nice thing about this is that you can have a random rotation. If you would use this, you can also use it as a tree, but then you can't rotate it on the X and Z or on the Y axis. So I use the same system over here, and let's generate. This is terrain. And actually you can see here that this is not what you want, so we need to set this higher in the data. Oh yes, that's because the size is bigger. It's around about 3.2, and we set it for all objects. So let's check it again. And now it will space things out, and there will be no trunk into a stone. And I also have a layer for placing leaves, and the same rules over here. This is still a value of the previous. So, and now let's do them together. Everything. See, the leaves are, and of course I'm going to activate grass so that it looks like they're laying in the grass. There are some trees. And as a vinyl, we're going to activate the grass. Let's regenerate. Here it comes. And there you go. And the grass is almost the same. Also same rules here. So here you have a very nice forest. You see how fast you can make good looking results. So zoom out. So that's our forest part, and let's move over to the jungle part. This is the jungle part of our island, and we're going to start with placing the trees. Here we have nice bushes and jungle trees and plants, bamboo. Okay, and I have a subfilter system, of course, not too high, not too steep, only on a green color, and this is for placing. I want space in between. I use the cloud map image for that. I use this a lot, and you can create your own images, and I can show you what it does in the image filter tool. We copy that one and we paste it here, and we click generate, and we can see what kind of output it will give. So very useful, very handy. And let's click generate, and here you can set how much you want of each. Want more of these plants, so you put it up, and you can center each value with one click over here. So here's our result, and you can see very clearly the cloud image, and of course you can use different scaling again. Like if you put it on 3 and you could generate, it would be totally different. See? You get a bigger scale. So we'll put it on this, and let's activate a second layer. You can create as many layers as you want. I want these trees in the middle. That's what I selected over here. And the subfilter. So let's show that in the pattern tool. I copy that one here and over here, and we activate that and generate, and you will see that in the center spots, well, we want it even bigger because that's not so big. We want more placement. Now that's too big. So something in between. Yeah, I like that one. So copy that and paste it over here. It looks the same, but there's a little bit of difference. So let's click generate, and those trees will be added to the center, as you can see. Okay, and now we want to place stones. So I'm going to activate the stone output, and here the jungle stones, and again same rules. I just duplicated the tree layer and just changed this a little bit, and I changed it to, let's click generate, that it will be only on the edge. So let's hit generate. There you go. So here we moved into our jungle, and only thing that is left is planting grass. And let's activate the grass, and I use this very simple rules, not too high, not too steep, and select them randomly, and let's click generate. You can create grass very fast. It's like no effort at all. So this is terrain 2 and now terrain 4, and voila, there is the grass. And look at the results over here, how quick and how cool you can get results. Thank you very much for watching. This is a short runtime video of the jungle part. I will make a longer video of all the parts of the island, runtime video, and of course we'll make more example videos, more example scenes. If you buy TerrainComposer, this will be included, and the next examples you get for free. And thank you for watching, and till the next video.